Hi there everybody and welcome. It's Tuesday again, which means it's time for live. So it's Jackie here from stampingjack.com and welcome. I'm just going to check my settings, so when you arrive, if you just want to leave me a comment down here so I know you're here, just bear with me 1 second. Let's just make sure that I'm showing up correctly. I hope you're all well. I hope you're surviving the lockdown and various restrictions that are on everybody, and that you're keeping busy. Here we go. There we are. Perfect. So as I said, if you just leave me a comment here, so I know that you're here, we'll say hi and we can get started. As usual, I've got some cool projects for you this evening, and I've got some special offers as well, which is kind of cool. I'm just going to put my computer to mute 1 second. I don't want to be listening back to myself as I talk to you. There we go. Okay, so where are we at this evening? Yes, so as I say, I've got some cute projects for you. I hope that you checked out, I posted these two cards last week, which I made for the What's New at SU blog hop. So I hope you managed to check that out on my blog to see the post on how to make them. And also, it was part of a wider group of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and there's lots. I think there's about 10 or 15 of us. So if you pop through, follow the links through. There's some great inspiration for stuff in the mini catalogue. So that's the spring summer catalogue, which is this one here. So there's lots of different ideas for different products within there. So it's definitely well worth checking out. So yeah, that's that. Sorry, I just got distracted. I will focus now on what I'm doing. So in terms of other news for you today, also just to let you know that during the week, last week, Stampin' Up! Added a whole load of new stuff to our clearance rack. I think I posted some information on my Facebook page. So there's, papers, punches, dies, embossing folders, embellishments, all sorts of cool stuff. So it's definitely worth checking that out, going on there and seeing what's on there. There's some good bargains to be had. Lots of stuff is less than half price. There's some good, I know it's a bit early in the year, but there's some good Christmas embellishments and stuff on there. So it's a good way to stock up on some of your Christmas crafting supplies ahead of time, if you can. The other thing to let you know about is that tomorrow is a really big day for us Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, because tomorrow we get to see the new annual catalogue for the first time in PDF. So the main catalogue, which is, let's get it. So the main catalogue, which is this one, obviously retires at the beginning of June and will be replaced by a brand new one. So I'm really looking forward tomorrow to seeing all of that. Now, unfortunately, I can't share it with you guys, but what happens as part of that is that then we get the list of all the stuff from the current catalogue that's not coming back. So that's stamp sets, dies, embellishments, papers. Generally speaking, none of the designer series paper stacks come back. They never repeat in the catalogues. And the in colours, so the 2017 to 2019 in colours will retire. Hi, Doreen. So just for your benefit. Hi, Kat. Welcome. So just for your benefit, these are the 2017 to 2019 in colours. So anything in this colour, in these colours, will go away when the new catalogue comes in June. So that's ink pads, ink refills, markers, cardstock, paper, anything to do in these colours will go away. So if you've got a favourite in these, then it's a good time to stock up, because anything in the ink colours goes really, really quick. So what I will do is tomorrow, when I get the list of what is retiring, I will send it out in an email to anybody who's on my mailing list, and I'll also post a link to it. I'll put it up on my blog, and I'll post a link to it in my in the Facebook group here, so you can see it. So as usual, this stuff is only while supplies last, and a lot of the stuff tends to go pretty quickly. So again, if you've got favourites that you've had your eye on for a while but never quite got round to getting, you want to make sure that you're in there to make sure you don't miss out. So that's the second thing I needed to tell you, which was about the retiring list. The third thing I wanted to tell you is just to remind you, so for the virtual classes, so I've got a virtual class on the 6th of May for the Under My Umbrella bundle. And thank you to those of you who signed up for that class already. That's great. There's two options. There's two options for the class. So one is basically the online only, which is a live crafting session. So it's a Zoom call where we'll make 4 cards live. And the online only basically means if you've already got the bundle, you join in. I'll give you the dimensions and supplies you'll need ahead of time. You join in and you craft along. And then afterwards, I'll have a pre-recorded video as well, and I'll give you all the dimensions, supplies and everything so you can recreate the projects. But the idea is that if you have all the bits, then you just craft along. So the online only option is £10. If you purchase the bundle from me, then you get that for free, okay? And you can sign up for that anytime up until the 5th of May, which is the day before the class. The second option is I can send you the project pack, which basically has all of the cardstock bits and pieces and embellishments that you'll need to make the projects already cut up for you. So a bit like what I do for you guys at classes, when you turn up, I've got all the bits nicely cut for you and ready to go. So that option is £20. And it includes the online option, obviously. If you purchase the bundle, then you get the you get the online bit for free, and you can purchase the project pack for £10. But the deadline for ordering that is tonight. So that just gives me time to cut up all the bits and get them posted out to you. So the deadline for ordering the project pack to go with this class is tonight, but you can still join in and order the online class anytime up to the 5th of May. And obviously, if you purchase this bundle, you get the online class for free. Hi, Anne. Yes, I'm looking forward to the class too. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the technology will work. Fingers crossed. So just to remind you, this is the card that we made last week using this bundle. So we'll have, as usual, 4 cards for that one. Also on virtual classes, I've got another class that's been released that's going to take place the following week on the 14th of May. So it operates the same way. There's the online only option, and then there's the project pack option. So this class is going to use the Dressed to Impress bundle. So that's the stamp set and the dies. And again, if you buy the bundle with me, you get the online class for free, and you can get the project pack for just £10 rather than the usual 20. Or you can just, if you've got the bundle already, then you can just order the classes directly from me. Okay, so so the deadline for ordering this project pack is next Tuesday, and the deadline for joining the online class is the 13th of May. But I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, so I'm going to use that tonight. So that's the virtual classes. The third thing, or is it the fourth thing? I've lost count now. Hi, Lynn, welcome. So the last thing I want to tell you about is, funnily enough, to do with Celebration. So Celebration ended on the 31st of March, but I have quite a few of the items in this little catalogue that I'm going to give away. So for example, I have the dies, the stamp set, I've got the Lily Impressions paper, I've got the twine, I've got the Happy Birthday stamp set, I've got the card kit, I've got the Golden Honey paper, I've got the Sending You Thoughts stamp set, I've got this stamp set, and I've got the Pleased as Punch paper, which was a second release. So what I'm going to do is, for any orders I receive between now and the end of April, for every £45 you spend, you get to pick one of these. So it's first come, first served. If you've got a particular thing that you'd like, then add it in, tell me when you place your order which one you'd like, and if I have it, it's all yours. If you spend £90, then you get 2, same as Celebration, and basically if you tell me what you want and I have it, then you get it. Otherwise I'll just randomly send you one of the items based on what I've got left. Hi Mary, hi Susan. So for example, if you were to purchase the Dress to Impress bundle, which is £45, okay, you would get to choose a Celebration item for free, and you would get the online class for free with that one. So there's just an example of what you could do. Or like that, you know, if you go to the clearance rack and add some stuff on, or if you, when you see the retiring list tomorrow, there might be some stuff that you want to get. So again, as I said, all orders between now and the end of April will qualify for that, but until I run out of the bits. But I've got quite a few bits and pieces, so hopefully if you get your order in, you should all be able to get yourselves a nice little freebie. So Celebration's not quite over yet. So is that everything? So virtual classes, clearance rack, retiring list, and Celebration. Done. Okay, so now let's get some crafting done, shall we? So let's move that out of the way. So let's start with the Dress to Impress bundle. So I love this stamp set, and I love this little die which creates a cool little bag. That might be a project in the class, just saying. Okay, and so what we're going to do is today's card is just a really simple one. So we're going to start with a mint macaron card base. So that's a piece of A4 cardstock, cut in half, folded in half like we normally do. And then I have a piece of Whisper White. Again, as usual, I will post all the dimensions and supplies onto my blog and give you the link so that you've got all the details if you want to create the project. And then I've got, this is Highland Heather, one of our scalloped ovals. And then we've got another scalloped oval, the stitched oval in Whisper White. Okay, and then I've just got a scrap. So they're the bits that you need. And the colours we're using are Mint Macaron and Gorgeous Grape. We're also, yes, we're also going to do some heat embossing. So just get my bits for that. Oops, sorry. Let's see. I haven't tested this now to see if my lead will actually reach as far as the plug socket. So bear with me a minute while I check. I hope it does. Let's see. Oh, just about. We're all right. Okay. Right, so on my scrap, what I need, where's my stamp set? So I'm going to just stamp these flowers. Okay, let's grab my blocks. And I think I'm also going to heat emboss the sentiment as well. So let's just, we're going to do Hello Fabulous. Okay, so let's just grab our scrap paper here. Okay, and then as always, most important step when heat embossing is our embossing buddy. Okay, so do that and that, and then we'll ink up with our Versamark. So I'm just going to stamp that there. Okay, and then we've got our flowers. So I'm just going to stamp these. 1 and 2 onto our scrap, and then we're going to emboss in silver. So let me just get a piece of paper. Here we go. Okay, and then my embossing powder. There we go. And let's just pour that back into already. And now let's bring in our heat tool. Remember to get your heat tool nice and hot before you start. You get a much better result. Okay, so just give it a few seconds to warm up. And then here we go, here's the magic. This is especially for you, Lynn. I know how much you love this. Well, we all love it, don't we? There we go. There's the magic. Okay, and then we've got our Hello Feathers. Now, I've just realised that my stamping here is not what I wanted to do. So I'm just going to quickly do that again. So I want the double flower. You'll see why in a minute. There goes my heat gun. Never mind. Right. So let's just redo this second flower. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Lid on our embossing powder so it doesn't go everywhere. Right. And then, so these two flowers here, I'm going to use the die set, and you'll see that we can die cut these flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go to my big shot and do that. I'll be right back. Chat amongst yourselves. Don't forget to share today's video if you wouldn't mind. That would be really fantastic. Okay, I'll just pop these through. There we go. So now we have our lovely little die cut embellishments. Okay, so now we have the bits that we need. Just need a bit of space. Okay, I need that. So then I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring. So we're going to use mint macaron. There we go, and some gorgeous grape. Go, and we're going to use our blender pen. So again, just pick the ink up from the lid of the panel, and we're going to make our leaves green. Again. There we go. Okay, and then we scribble it till it's clear, and then we can bring in our gorgeous grape. And it's just so easy to do this. And of course, if you want to be careful about staying inside the lines, then the embossing really helps with that. So let's just add a bit of shading, just to show that we made some sort of effort, and just instead of just scribbling it on, which is kind of what I'm doing. There we go. Here we are, okay, and again, always just scribble your blender pen till it runs clear. Alrighty, that's that. Okay, and then we'll just bring in our pieces. Okay, so we've got our card base. And here we go, so let's... Oh, by the way, yay! My adhesive has arrived. You'll have seen I got very excited at the weekend because they got here. I know you guys will understand why that's a big deal for me. I'm so pleased. It just means I don't have to try and do without my glues, and what I have works. Okay, so we're going to pop this one up, so we want dimensionals on here. Again, back to my normal dimensionals. Okay, and then what we want on here is we want some Let me think, how do I want to do this? Ding, ding, ding. Put my sentiment on crooked, so let's get that straight. So then these are just going to go like this on either side. And then let's see. Now, here's the question. Do I wrap or do I zigzag? Let's try a zigzag. Okay. Yep, I think that's what I want. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. There's a tiny bit of glue here on my flower. And pop that there. And then the same for this one. Let's put a little bit here. Enjoy your dinner, Cat. See you later. Okay, right, so this I can just stick straight down now. Like so. And then we'll take our snail. I'm just going to put a little bit here, and that's just to hold our zigzag ribbon. Okay. Just rearrange it till I'm happy with how it looks. Yep, that's cool. And then you just lay it on top, and then just grab a few. Just going to add a couple of gems. There we go, and then I think we'll do a bit of Wink of Stella spritzing. No, that one's... I keep picking up the Wink of Stella pen that has not so much in it. This is better. There we go. So there, not sure if you can see it, but we've just got a nice elegant little sheen on there, or subtle little sheen. So there you go, really super simple, elegant card. And that's the Dress to Impress bundle, which is the next online or virtual class coming up after the Under My Umbrella class. Okay, so that's card number 1. Let's see a thumbs up, or if you like it. Let me know what you think. I love, love, love mint macaron as a colour. I think it's just so gorgeous, and I don't use it as much as I should. Sorry about that. Just dropping everything everywhere. Like I said, my workspace is not quite what I want it to be, but I'll get there. I must stop complaining about it, really. You guys are probably fed up hearing about it. Right, so that's that one. Oh, some hearts and stuff. Excellent. Thank you, guys. So that's card number 1. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing. Good stuff. Right, so next, what should we do? Next, I'm going to, like I said to you, I showed you the cards that I met using the music from the Heart stamp set. So I've just got another one of that today, because this is just such a cool little set, and I think it's just a lot of fun. So I'm going to make kind of a masculine sort of card. So we're starting with a basic grey card base, and then we've got, here we go, so we've got a piece of Granny Apple Green, and then we've got a smaller piece of Whisper White, and then another piece of Whisper White for the inside. And then what I've done is I've taken our star set. Now these were in the autumn winter catalogue, so these were in the Christmas catalogue. These are carrying over to the main catalogue, so you can still get these, which I think is fantastic because this is just a brilliant set. So what I've done is, using the Granny Apple Green, is I've die cut one of the stars, and then I've die cut this piece here, and I've just taken some of the stars that have come out of it, and I've got these as well. Okay, and then I've got a scrap, and I'm going to use the guitar. I think I showed you last week. I think this is such a cool idea, but I thought I'd actually make it into a card this week. So let's just pop that on the block. We'll do the same for this one. So we're going to use some black. Let's use the stays on. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just got a scrap of paper here. So just ink up the treble clef. Okay. And then I'm going to just stamp that down. Now because it's a stays on ink, I just like to hold it for a second longer than normal, just to make sure that we got a nice clear impression. And then we take the guitar, what is it, head, a fret, I'm not sure. Anybody who's musically inclined can tell me, okay? And then you can see we just line this piece up here. Let's see if I can do it through the camera, like so. And there we end up with a guitar. I just think that's so clever, so clever. And then I'm just going to quickly grab my Granny Apple Green blend and just very quickly colour in this heart here. There we go. All right, and then we're going to do some fussy cutting. So this shouldn't be too bad. So let's So remember, the key to fussy cutting is to move your paper rather than your scissors. And we just try and leave a little border. I think fussy cutting is one of those things. Some people, it's just no way. Other people actually quite enjoy it. For me, it's not something that I would seek out, but I don't mind it too much. This is not too bad an image, so it's relatively straightforward. So you can see I'm moving the card rather than my scissors, and that just helps it. And obviously with fussy cutting, you've got to have a super sharp scissors. That's the key. So there we go. There's our guitar. Alrighty. So now we're going to do a bit of stamping around the back here. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use the Label Me Bold stamp set, and I'm going to use this image here. Okay, so you know us, we love a good splodge, and this is perfect for that. So I'm going to use some smoky slate for this because I want it to be quite subtle in the background. And so I want my thing is going to be down here. So let's grab my scrap paper again. So I might stamp off a little. Here we go. All right, so again, a bit like the cards we did the other week where we had the splodge from the Painted Poppies stamp set. So all I'm going to do is just randomly stamp around just to create an interesting background. Okay, so we want something up there. And you can see that I'm stamping off just to create those different kind of grades. There we go. So I think maybe a little bit more. Smoky slate's quite a light colour, so. Alrighty, we've got that. Okay, and then what I want to do is we've got these cute little stars. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp those in Granny Apple Green. Now, what you could do is you could stamp these and emboss these, or you could use foil. You can do whatever you like, really. But again, this is just to create a little bit of interest. Yeah. Let's have one there, there, and there. There we go. I think that will do. Okay, and then no, don't need it. So that's that done. Okay, so that's our layer. So let's bring this back in. So we're just going to glue this onto our Granny Apple Green layer. Okay, our star is going to be popped up. And then we'll take our guitar, and I'm just going to put some glue on the back here. And we're just going to pop that on like so. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do is, this is sticking up a bit and I don't really want it to, so I'm just going to snip a tiny little bit. You can see that's just the teeniest bit of one of the edge of the sheet of dimensionals. I'm just going to pop that on there so you can see that there, and then that just stops it from flapping around and getting damaged. There we go. And then we've got a tiny little strip. This is one of my strips that's left over from trimming my cardstock, and we've got U-Rock. Okay, so I'm going to just the block. So I'm just going to stamp that in black. Okay, let's see if I can get it straight. There we go, perfect. And then let's see, I want to put it I want it under there, but I want it popped up as well, so I'm going to grab my mini dimensionals to go on the back. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just glue that onto our card base. And then for the inside, I think we're just going to repeat some of the stamping from the front. So just take our smoky slate and just like so, and then do a couple of little stars. these spare ones here, so I'm just going to, using my glue. Oh look, I've picked up a stamp on my glue. So I'm just going to add 2 of them to the inside. There we go. And then we'll just, again, put some glue on the back. And there we've got our cool inside card. So there we go. Card number 2. Let me know what you think about that one. Let's just clear some of this away. Make a bit of space. So like I said, I just think that this stamp set is one of those that you can just do so much with it. And I have been having an awful lot of fun with it. More fun perhaps than I should. But there you go. There we go. Okay, let's move that out of the way. And a class with colour combination suggestions. That's a good idea. Do you mean like a sort of an online class? I can absolutely do that in terms of just how I go about colour combinations or suggesting colour combinations, making a few cards with those colour combinations. Is that what you mean? If you guys would like an online class in that, absolutely happy to do that. Yeah, I know masculine cards are so hard, aren't they? In fact, at the weekend, I had to make a birthday card for my boss. So he's my new boss. So it's something very simple, and I used this colour combination. But whilst I was doing it, I did one of my favourite things to make masculine cards, which is using my scraps to basically, these are all the offcuts from trimming my cardstock. So I always keep these, and then I'm constantly, you'll have seen these. That they I'm constantly doing little stripes like these. So that's, and again, it's just, I think it's a great masculine set. So Kathy, yes, so the stamp set with the little stars is the Label Me Bold, and that's also from the Spring Summer catalogue. And again, I think it's one of those ones that it doesn't really jump out at you in the catalogue, but I think it's just it's one of those ones where the sentiments are great, and then you got these lovely little elements, and I think this is one of those that you just kind of, you reach for a lot when making cards, and I've used this quite a lot over the last few weeks for various bits and pieces. So Anne says yes. Okay, Anne, so I will work on putting together an online class for colour combinations. And when I've worked it out and I've got the details, I will post it up for you. So I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, and if there's anything else that you guys would like to see as part of an online class, then just like Anne's done, let me know, and I can put stuff together, and we can work on it and I'll make sure that you get what you need. Oh, there's lots of parts there. Thank you, guys. Similarly, if there's particular, I haven't got my whole collection here, but if there's particular techniques or particular things that you want me to share with you in my Facebook Lives, then by all means leave me a comment, send me a message, and I'll do my absolute best to try and incorporate those into the projects that I do. So as I say, you know, if there's particular folds or techniques or stamp sets or things like that you'd like to see, then let me have your requests. And we'll see what we can do. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll put a post up where basically if you comment on it, it can give me what you want to do, and that way we can keep all of the requests together, and I can keep a list of it. So there we go. So the next set, I think I'm going to do a little bit more heat embossing. So this is, I can't remember, I think, is this from the spring catalogue or the annual catalogue? Let me just try and remember. What I'm trying to do is go through and use stamp sets that I haven't really used. So if we go to the back of the catalogue, all right, we've got this very handy ready reckoner, so I can see, is this from, no, so this is an annual catalogue one. So there's one, I think this is very like this, the Beautiful You stamp set, which has got these beautiful line drawings, and then there's There's a male one, I think it's called A Good Man or something, which has some lovely, again, these beautiful line drawing images, but with the guys. And I've used that before, but I don't think I have it with me. So we're just going to do some bit of heat embossing and a bit of watercolouring with this one. So what we've got is we've got a little bit of watercolour paper. We've got some basic grey, and then I'm using some Sahara sand. So it's a slightly unusual colour combination, but we'll see how it goes. Let's just grab our... So we're going to do some Emboss Resist for this one. So let me just grab the stamps that we're going to need. So you can see, look, I haven't used any of these yet. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to use this image here. I think it's just beautiful. It's really, really lovely. Okay, so I want a bigger block for that. There we go. And then we've got some other, so we've got some birds, and then we've got some grass, and then we've got the sentiment which just says thinking of you. And I love thinking of you as a sentiment because I think it's just, you can use it for any occasion really. You know, it could be sympathy. It is actually in the mini catalogue, Kathy. Thank you very much. It's good to have you eagle-eyed viewers on hand to help me out, so appreciate that. So page 28 of the annual catalogue, or the mini catalogue, everyone. Okay, so let's get our, so what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going to heat emboss in white. Okay, so again, we do our embossing body first of all. Okay, alrighty, and then to ink up the lady first. Okay, and depending on the light, hopefully I'll be able to see it all in one. If you're building a scene like this and you're going to heat emboss it, then sometimes what's good to do is to just build it bit by bit so you can see where you're going. But with the light I should be able to see. So yes, I can see where I've stamped. Okay, so then I'm going to continue out the, let me just make sure. Yep. So then I'm just going to continue out the grass to the side. Okay, and then what I am going to do it in 2 stages. So now I'm going to heat emboss down here. Okay, now you won't see this at first coming out because it's white on white, but can you see there? You can see the image. So now because I can see that, okay, just going to move that. Now I'm going to stamp the other bits because I can see where I am. Okay, so let's just line this one up. So I want that there. And then we've got our birds, and we just want a few of them up here. Okay, and then we can bring back in our piece of paper, and then we just add the next bit of embossing powder. So there, now we can see where it all is. So see, I've got a few bits there, so we'll just, here we go, and then we just pop that back into the pot. Alrighty. Okay, now let's see if this shows up when you're on your screen, if you can see it. So again, just allow our heat tool to warm up a little before we take it to the paper. That helps reduce any kind of warping or anything, okay? So here we go. can you see where we've got the images? Okay, so then I'm going to do a little bit of watercolouring. So I'm going to start with some balmy blue. Okay, so again, we're just going to squeeze the lid of our ink pad to get that going. There we are. When we take our aqua painter, let's just make sure we've got some water. So I'm going to sit down for this with me, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so then I'm going to start at the top and basically just do a wash. Okay, and I'm just going for a very loose kind of look. You can see that I'm not blending much now. As I come down closer, I just need to be a bit careful as I go around. Okay, so just bear in mind where my lady is. Okay, I'm not using a huge amount of water here. Just the water is in the brush itself. Okay. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit of water in. So now I can create a slightly lighter colour. And we can just add a little bit more. And we'll just, again, just make sure that it's clear over the thinking of you bit, okay? Alrighty, so then we just clean that off. And again, I'm not going to do a proper full-on watercolour because I'm not a watercolour artist. So I'm just going to keep it super simple. I'm going to start with some Sahara sand, which is just a really light colour, and then we'll see how we go, okay? So just make sure that I've got no blue. Add a bit of water in here. And then I'm going to start kind of at the bottom. Kind of get the grasses and things. Okay. And then I'm actually going to colour her dress as well. Okay, and then I think I'm going to let's try some soft suede. Just to add, I'm going to do that with her hair. So again, just squeeze a little bit of colour into the ink pad. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and I like using Emboss Resist to help with watercolouring because it helps with staying inside the lines. So again, I'm just adding a little bit of shading to her dress. I'll add a little bit there. Okay, and then I'm going to add I'm going to use some pink. So let me just get rid of that colour. I'm going to grab some Blushing Bride. Okay. And again, I just want the teeniest, tiniest hint of pink here, just for her arms, just so we can see that she actually has arms. Okay, and then I can see that I've missed a little bit in here. Add a bit of shading. So again, if you're colouring this image, what I love about these images is that these lines give you an indication of where you're shading, where you might want it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is let's grab some Pear Pizzazz. I think we need to add a little bit of green in here. Okay, so again, just very subtle. Just want to add some hints of green here with the leaves. Again, I'm not actually colouring, I'm just laying some colour down where those leaves are, just so the stems and stuff are picked out. As I say, this is a very loose sort of a look. And then see here, I've got more than I want, so I'm just going to pick this up a little bit. There we go. Let me just spread it out a little. Okay, and then I think I'm going to carefully, where's my blue? It's under here. I'm just going to very carefully now just fill in some of the bits around down here, just so we can define her a little bit more. Okay, I didn't want to do it at first because I wanted to be sure where I was going, so I wanted to colour first. So we can put a tiny bit in there. And there we have it. So okay, so just give that a second. Let's close up some of these ink pads. Alrighty. And then let's bring back in our pieces. So for this, because you can see we've watercolored it, we've heat embossed it, it's a little bit warped. So what I want to do is I'm going to use my tear and tape. So whenever I do anything like this on watercolor paper or anything, and then I want to lay it down, I'm just going to, I always use my tear and tape because that will hold it nice and flat to the card base for me. Okay. Alrighty. Here we are. This is the reason why I normally use wet glue rather than tear and tape, because once you've put this down, you kind of need to, you're kind of committed. So let's do that. Go. Okay, so I'm going to just give that a good rub on the back to make sure that it's, so now you can see, okay, it's much flatter. We lost that bend, okay, and then I'm going to pop this up. Okay. And then I'm just going to lay that on there like so. So there we have it, a super simple, subtle card. Really quite pleased with how that turned out. That was one of those ones where I just kind of had an idea in my mind and we're just going to play and see how it goes. So let me know what you think about that one while I get ready for what time are we at? 5 to 8. Okay, we've got time for one more card, I think. So let me just get my bits and we'll crack on with that one. The last one is relatively straightforward, shouldn't take long. Okay, so the last card we're going to make is using this background stamp set, the Breathtaking Bouquet. Kathy, I'm fast. Yeah, not really. When my son the other day said, he asked me, he said, how long did it take you to make that card? And I said, oh, about 2 hours. And he said, that's ages. I said, yes. I said, once you know what you're going to make, it doesn't take long. It's the figuring out what you're going to make that usually takes a while. So I'm pleased with that one because that one was a bit of a rough idea in my mind and I'm pleased with how that one came out. All right, so I'm going to bring in our Stamparatus for this one. Okay, so when you're doing your background stamps, Stamparatus is a great way of doing it because, you know, you don't have a big block or whatever. Ooh, thanks for the hearts and smiles. Excellent. So I'm just going to lay my stamp down. So if you don't have a Stamparatus, first of all you should, but if you don't need that one either. If you don't, then when you're stamping your background stamps, the thing to do is to actually lay your background stamp down flat and put your paper on it and then rub it usually with a block or something like that. Let's just give you, got my bits here. So let's show you. So let's say you wanted to ink this up and you didn't have a Stamparatus. You'd ink it up, put it flat on the your work surface, place your your piece of paper down, and then I use a block basically to give it a good old press. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this piece in here, and then I'm going to ink up using, I'm going to use my Memento because I'm going to use my blends in a minute. Okay, so we're just going to ink up this whole, and just place that under there. It just supports the, what's the word, ladies? It supports the frame. Now I'm just going to put a piece of scrap underneath here so I don't end up stamping on the background of my Stamparatus onto this bit here, okay? So then I'm just going to place that down and just give it a good press, okay? There we go. Now with background stamps or large stamps, it's always important to give it a good press because you've got quite a big surface area that you're trying to cover. And there we go, okay? Now, I see I've missed the edge because I've put my stamp right to the edge, but that's fine because I don't need it. What I should have done really is stamped it kind of out here somewhere so that I caught all of it, or put my stamp out here somewhere so that it's not left in the corner here. But that's fine for what I want to achieve, okay? So put that away, I'll clean that in a bit. And then what we've got is I've got a Whisper White card base, okay, and then I've got a layer of black, and you'll see that I've cut some scalloped squares already out of my base layer because this is a base layer, okay. So that's a good tip for saving on your cardstock. If you want to cut shapes out and you know you're going to cover it up, then don't cut a separate piece of cardstock. Just cut it from behind, okay. So I'm going to glue this down. You can do this straight away. I'm just going to stick the white piece to the black piece. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I've got another one of my squares. So this is using our squares die set. So you've got regular squares and then scalloped squares, and they layer with one another. So this will layer with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 squares out of this just to pick out bits of the image. Okay, so bear with me 2 seconds while I do that. So while I'm doing this, let's have your suggestions, because we've got a black and white card and I'm going to do a pop of colour. So let's have your suggestions as to what pop of colour you think I should do whilst I'm cutting these pieces out. Let's see, what have we got in terms of colours? What are people wanting? Leave it black and white, Mary. I know you could, and I think it would look cool, black and white. I'll show you. Now, here's my third piece. What we're done with it, it's over here. So there we go. So Mary is absolutely right. You could simply leave it like that and it would work perfectly. Okay, but we are going to put a little bit of colour in it. Come on guys, I need some colours, otherwise I'll have to make an executive decision. Let's see. My first thought when I have black and white, it goes to red, but I'm always using red, so I don't want red. I'm trying to think, what colours do I not use very often that maybe I should use? Maybe some purple or a pink. Oh, maybe a pink. That might work. But in the meantime, let me think. I want a sentiment for this one. So let me just grab, I want my little strip of white that I had before. Purple and violets, Lynn. Okay. Well, you're the only one who's voted so far, so if nobody else puts anything in, that's what we'll go for. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back greens and yellows. Okay, cool. And I'm going to bring back this piano, Music from the Heart, and I'm going to use the Just a Note. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that in black. I haven't decided whether I'm going to pop it up or not, so I'm going to start by putting it on a strip and then we'll decide. Purples and violets. Okay. Yellow from Doreen. Ooh, we've got a split. Let's have a look. Thanks for sharing, guys. Yes, I think I'm going to pop that up, so let me just trim that while we decide on colour. Okay, so I think I will do green because we've got some leaves. So we've got, let's see, let's use our light granny apple green and let's try what we got here. Let's try some light Highland heather. And do you think we could put yellow with it? Let's try it and see, shall we? Let's have a look. What have we got here? Let's try, that's Mango Melody now. Let's try some Daffodil Delight. So if I grab a piece of cardstock, okay, I'm just going to have a look at these colours next to one another. I think they might be quite nice. Yep, I think we can please everybody. I think we can put all three in here. Okay, so let's grab these. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to colour everything in here. I'm just going to pick out little bits. So I'm using the fine tip of my blender pen. We'll just do some green down here. Okay, and then down here we've got some leaves. So where we've got a slightly larger area. So again, you could take a lot of care and you could really work on blending these and doing your shading and all the rest of it, but I don't think it's necessary because I think the card itself, it's just the hint of colour that we want. Okay, so we've got a bit of green and let's put a little bit of green in here. Okay, there we go. So now let's do some Highland Heather on this large image here. So again, I'm just going to lay the colour down all over on here. Okay, and then what we can do is we can go back around and just add little bits of shading really where the lines are. Again, not being especially there. Okay, and I think I will add a little bit of my dark, okay, just to give it a little bit of just around where the lines are, because it's such a large piece. Okay, see, I'm being real scientific and careful about this, guys. So again, I'm using my blends, which are the alcohol markers, but you could use your ink pads and your blender pen like I've done before, or you could use watercolor pencils or whatever coloring medium you like. Okay, so then that's that, and I'm actually going to, I know it's a leaf, but I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow on here. Okay, and then on this one, let's do big pop of yellow in the corner. Okay. Like so, and then we'll just add some hints of purple. Again, these are leaves, but I'm going to colour them purple just to give me the colour that I want. Okay, put a little bit there, I think, and then we'll just do a little bit here. There we go. Okay, and then here we'll have a bit more of a mix. So we'll do a purple here. Okay, and then we'll do a yellow one. Okay, and then we'll add a little bit of yellow in here, I think. Go, and then maybe add a little bit more green. There you go, and then I think this should be purple as well. There we go. And a little bit of green in this corner. There we are, and then I think for this one, just a bit of green here. There we go. Alrighty, okay. So then we've got our 3 pieces. So now what I'm going to do is, let's see, let's put, there we go. Oh yeah, that looks good. So we'll just get some glue and just adhere our small squares. Now again, you could do this with punches, you could do this with circles, anything that's layered would look good. And like Mary said earlier, I love the colour on this, but again, it also look great. Just can't see if I've got glue. It would also look great, just black and white. There you go. Or if you don't want to colour, you could just cut out patterned paper, 3 different squares of it, and pop it on a background like this. That would also work really, really well. Okay, and then we're just going to pop those up. If I can find my dimensionals, here they are. And then we want some minis for our sentiment strip. Okay, all right. So tip 4, when you're arranging stuff like this, we don't judge, Mary. Lazy is fine by me, because I'm lazy too when it comes to crafting. That's why I don't spend hours and hours and hours on cards if I can help it. And you're definitely truthful, that's true. So the best thing that I find is I tend to eyeball it, but you can measure it if you like. But basically, if you get the middle one correct, then you can usually work out where the other two go, getting your gaps correct, okay? So I'm just making sure that the gap here and here is accurate, and the same the other side. And obviously that top and bottom, they line up. And if you can't manage that, then don't make them straight. Put them in a diagonal line or arrange them so that they intentionally look like they're not supposed to be straight. And that way you can get away with it. Okay. And then we'll put our just a note in here, and we're almost done. I think we're missing just one thing. Who can tell me what we're missing from this card? I'm going to stick this to the base. So for our card, I've got our, see, it looks nice like that too. So I've basically got our tent-fold card, but I've made it sideways. But we could equally have done it that way and just had our sentiment along the bottom. Just another way. I think we need some Wink of Stella just on our flowers, just to give them a little bit more pizzazz. So again, be careful with your Wink of Stella because it will pick up colour and transfer it. You're right, Mary. Wink of Stella. Well done. Okay, and then we'll just add it to the yellow. And there we have it. So we could do, as I say, we could have just left it black and white, or we've got our lovely colours. So there we go. We managed to get our purples and our yellows and our greens together, which looked good. So there we go. So that's card number 4. So now it's over to you guys. You've got to do the work now. So I'm going to bring back in the cards that we made. So that's card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, and card number 4. So let me know which one is your favourite. So just to remind you before we go, don't forget, deadline for ordering the paper pack for the online or for the Under Umbrella virtual classes tonight. So drop me a line if you want to do that. You can do it on my blog. Don't forget that we've got retiring list items coming out tomorrow. So I'll send you that. Remember the celebration offer, which is basically my extra celebration supplies. So for every £45 you spend between now and the end of April, I'll send you one of the celebration items for you. So make sure to get your orders in. They're first come, first served. So if I run out before the end of April, then I run out before the end of April. What else? And also to bear in mind that we've got the Dress to Impress virtual class will be coming on stream as well. That's also available. And I think that is it. So let's have a look. What have we got? 1 and 3, 4. Let's have a look. I love seeing how you guys vote, because some weeks there's like one standout one that you all love, and then sometimes it's quite spread. So I think today seems to be number 2 seems to be doing well. So I think 2 is a popular one, although men's cards or masculine cards are often popular. So thank you again, everybody. It's been fun crafting with you again, and I hope you enjoyed the project. As I say, if you haven't already done so, make sure to share the video, and I will post the links to all the bits I talked about tonight, and also watch out for the blog post, which has everything in it. Okay, all this dimensions. Susan, can you order on the 30th of April? Absolutely you can. Why don't you message me and we can sort it out? Okay. Love number 1, but they're all lovely. Thank you, Jackie, for a lovely evening. Thank you, Doreen. It's been a pleasure. As always, I love it. And thank you, ladies, and I will speak to you all again next week, if not before. Bye.